don't know if that's still in existence or whether it's been written over. Now we've just got a hope, a beyond hope, that the BBC have reached out to the guard while they're over there and said, look at the camera, and it's stored for longer. We've got to hope for that. Nanny, I just believe that there has to be ways that people like Interpol can look for things that have been wrote over and over and over. And I've seen it in other cases, actually. I've seen it in other cases where something had been taped over 3 times and they still got the footage. So we have to hope. So they've kind of alluded to it being destroyed, Mia. So it says here, a CCTV recording which may have captured the murder taking place was wiped after 2 weeks before police knew the location. Some of those who claim to be helping the family, and it goes on, but we don't know for definite. No one has confirmed it. No one has confirmed it. They haven't confirmed they can't get it back. They haven't. Orange jumpsuits, not just jumpers. I'm not a freak. I don't want a Satsuma. And it does talk about how the case was misdirected by Dawn, by Madison, by all the people kind of involved in the case. They misdirected the family so that by the time this happened and John was found, there was so much that had already gone. Evidence. We see it in a lot of cases. And we have to kind of take the good from this episode tonight, because I thought it was done really well. I thought it was absolutely, really clearly in John's favour. I thought Billy come across amazing. Like, the man's my hero. I can't even cry when he talks. I can't even stop crying when he talks. I think he really took it back to basics from all the internet rubbish that's been going on and was just a father there saying, I need to know what happened. And I absolutely think Billy will be one of the driving forces for justice, and you can see him saying, like, you know, if you did nothing wrong, just give yourself in, like, let's just end this now, like, we need to do something. And I'm really saddened at the end that he has no hope in getting justice, but I don't blame him. The civil guard haven't given them any information. You know, the family found out today a lot of this information along with us from this article, especially things like him being beaten, stripped, all of that. Like, they didn't know where John had been shot before today either. It's a massive another kick in the guts of brutality. It's horrific. But I hope seeing this put together, the whole thing. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Jane. I hope seeing this whole thing put together, this documentary. Oh, thank you, Kate. Leads Billy to know, like, there is some justice coming, and people are so supportive of this family. They've named Johnny Smith. They've gone into details about him having his gym burnt out and kind of what life he was living back in Belfast. They've talked about how they had the ex-criminal one, the one eye guy. I don't think I should call him one eye guy. It doesn't seem fair, does it? I don't know what his name was. He was talking about, look, you know, it doesn't matter. John wasn't doing anything, like he was like one of the small guys, like they didn't care. He was called Marvin, was he? Marvin Herbert. How do you all know that? No, it wasn't Cregan. He's in prison. One eye guy. Yeah, don't tell him I said that. Out, and they did say couple, but I do believe there may be an element where if they arrest her and Johnny, she will just sing like a donkey. Is that the right word? I don't think. Do you sing like a donkey? What's the word? Sing like a canary. It's nothing to do with donkeys. Although she's an arse. I don't know where that came from. It was definitely not a donkey. So the positive things I think come from this. Positive, I think it was a really factual, good documentary. I think people will watch it and get a lot from it. I think, too, Billy came across very well. And I say that as someone on the outside that's not even just talking about a father. I'm talking about someone who is a viewer of a documentary and a criminologist. I'm talking about, thank you, Nanny Kay. I'm talking about he came across very sympathetic. He came across, the viewers will like him. And they will absolutely be like, what a man, what a dad. And I honestly do think that people who even have read these ludicrous articles about this poor father this week will absolutely see Billy and be like, no wonder he did what he did. Like, no wonder he turned up there. He wants answers. Look at the grief on his face. So I think what he has done is shown himself to be a true father, a true man. And I do believe, as soon as I saw him, I cried. I absolutely cried looking at him. I was like, oh my God, like, he's broken. He's absolutely broken. And I've got so much love for him, and he's trying to protect his wife, he's trying to protect his kid. And if he was driven to go round there in his head because of all this stuff being thrown at him online and these nasty things these women keep saying about him, I can't blame him. I do think Johnny and Madison are going to be watching that documentary, and they're going to want to know what's going on. Tonight they would have learned that Michael Malley sold them out. and told the police where his body was. So they're going to know that he crossed them, that he ratted. They're also going to know that if I did see myself on Spotlight, they are going to know that he has pretty much probably told them everything, and the police know more than they thought they did. I imagine they're not going to be feeling so cocky today. They know now that the whole world know that Johnny is absolutely involved in this. Now, one of the things we've seen Johnny do in different comments, I mean, the family have got him on different profiles, he always says, I'm not wanted, I'm not even on the run. Like, that's not even me. There's nobody there. I've not been named. Look, we got a thing around our picture because we become popular number 12. Thank you, guys. He always, and his mum says, like, he's not even wanted. He's not on the run. Like, they've not named him. Now he has been named. He's been named in the Belfast Live. He's been named from BBC. He's been named in the documentary. His picture's going to be everywhere by tomorrow morning. And hopefully it'll get to all the right places as well. So there is lots of good to come from this. Secondly, fourthly, or whatever I'm on now, his picture is all over the media with suspect written underneath it. That is all the family have asked for a long time. Who cares? He was wanted. That's all they've asked for. Like, they're fed up of fighting these battles online and saying, like, no, it is him. Like, we know it's him. Like, you know it's him. Like, they now have that. They now have everything they've ever said has been proven. And we're seeing a real silence from Dawn today, because what can she say? She's a liar. She knew that Johnny was wanted. She spoke to people involved in the case who have been looking for her son. She knew that he was wanted. And now it's been put out. And what that is going to do is put so much pressure on Johnny Smith. Your picture is everywhere. You've been named as someone who's wanted on international search warrants. You have been pictured all over the media. There's a documentary featuring you. And no, Michael Malley seems to be staying put. He's going to court and stuff like that. I believe he will. I believe the reason he's probably out is because he's probably told everything. And he's probably got some kind of strict bail conditions, but I don't believe he'd be walking out and about if he hadn't made a deal and give lots of information. And, you know, I want to say, like, obviously, I've taken a lot of hits from the other side. We all have, the family have as well. We've taken hits from Dawn, from Duncan, from these people spreading absolute vile bile all over online and saying, like, well, as far as we're concerned, John George and the family are the guilty ones. Like, we've not had anything to say that Johnny Smith is wanted. Now you have, Duncan, and I expect you to make a video. I expect you to make a video apologising from every single family member of John George and the man himself, who you have absolutely trashed his name, you've trashed his memory, you've left footprints all over the internet that will forever be there, where you've slagged off these two little boys' dads and you've made him responsible for his own death. And you know today, you know that the whole time you made those videos saying he wasn't wanted, you knew you were lying, you little cretin. So put it right. Put it right and apologise to Billy, apologise for Darren, Courtly, Kushla, John's sister, other sister I won't name because I don't speak to her to just be going around naming her. Apologise to the mum and apologise to his children, apologise to John George for the fact that he died in the way he did, and you've backed the people that's done this to him from day one. You've said, oh no, I wasn't told by the people. Why would they tell you? You look like a cross between a jellyfish and a carrier bag, you're that pale. Like, why would they tell you anything? You've had your tongue up her jacksie for weeks and you're literally allowing her in the comments to go for this family. You said Darren George was one of the biggest dealers in the whole of Belfast because he had nice trainers. They were fake trainers. They were fake trainers and he was literally laughing his head off. Got to pay 30 quid for them. But you ran with it. You ran with this utter nonsense and you're going, oh, the most knowledgeable man in the true crime field. Absolutely not. You speak 3 languages. You're on sugar baby websites and you've added nothing to this case. Nothing but attack this. And even on the clip when you're on the programme, you go, well, John George was involved in it. Shame on you. Shame on you in any case for any victim for going for the victim. I covered case after case after case. Today I covered 2 of 2 women who worked selling their bodies, and both of them I said, these are not responsible. Their way of life was not a choice. They were good people. They were in addiction, but they mattered. They mattered, and John George mattered. He mattered and he died in a way that I've not seen anyone else die in such a violent manner in a foreign country away from everyone he loved. And the closest the children heard about their dad to Christmas was that his body had been recovered. A month after Christmas, his 2 sons walked behind his coffin carrying photos of their father and letting off doves to their dad. Meanwhile, you were online saying the most vile, horrific things about his dad, his family, his cousins, Kushla, who she was with. Nothing to do with the case. You attacked this family with no need and for no reason. And said, oh, Hayley's like just on there. I will always be on the victim side. I will always take the victim side, regardless of who the victim is, what life they've walked, what addictions they've had, what money issues they've had. I will always take the side of the man whose body is found. Thank you, Dawny. The man who was snaked over, the man who was destroyed. And I know because of the kind of pleb that you are, you'll still make a video saying, well, yeah, I know, I see that Johnny's been named. I don't know if I believe the BBC. And you'll do what you do, which is further destroy family. And any single one of you in here that follows this man, please unfollow him and block him, because if I catch any of my people following this guy, even just to see his comment sections, I will block you instantly. Like, I will block him instantly. And I hope everybody on that programme from Northern Ireland who doesn't have TikTok and doesn't have social media knows who this man is now. And you come hard for this guy. And I'm not asking no one to do anything like that, but turn up on his videos and demand an apology for this family. It's on BBC Spotlight, Who Killed John George. There is no way in any situation where I would ever be forgiven of myself if I took a case of a young man, a dad, a mother, where they'd been brutally killed in their own home, and then I would say to you, I think he had a theft charge back in 1986, like, and he drove the car too fast at one point, so I've got no sympathy. Like, I've got no sympathy. And actually, I'm going to start looking into the background of his mother and his father and his cousins. Like, when did that make sense? Is this a man who, like Sarah Everard, when she was found horrifically killed by Wayne Couzens, was this a police officer who actually thought to himself, oh, I'm going to start looking into Sarah Everard's mum and dad's background to see if they'd ever had a speeding ticket or returned a library book late? Was it just because it was John George and his family were from Belfast that you assumed there must have been a criminal tie, or it would be all his fault?